Niche she filled.
Yeah. So overall, we're always trying to make sure that we're like balancing the roles and the different play styles in the game so that long term there's a healthy ecosystem. And we felt that there was a need for a Sentinel coming up. I know that there's been a lot of comments about that for a while now. I think for like the past 2 agents, I've seen like Sentinel win. So, it's nice to make those players happy. But something we've noticed is that a lot of our Sentinels require a lot of setup. You've got your like small window before the round starts where you're like running around your area, setting everything up. It can be like super stressful, anxiety ridden, and then no one shows up on your site. No one shows up on your location. You get like a little sad and you're like, all right, let me take down my stuff. Let me move on over here. And so we wanted to create a Sentinel that is more about reacting to the situation at hand. How do you stall on the fly? How do you prepare yourself in a certain position to be able to take advantage of enemies that are slowing down in some way?
Okay, well, I want to dive into the abilities as well and really get to see the gameplay of Deadlock as well, at least. I believe the first ability is Grab Net as well. It's like the lobbable grenade that really can, like you said, be used reactionary, grabbing people. Can you explain a little bit more for me as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So GrabNet is this tool that's really good at stalling rushes or throwing at areas where you have information on where enemies are. And it will force them to crouch, and they can kind of move slowly within the bounds of the net, and they won't be able to escape that for a certain duration. They have an option to pull off the net and make a loud sound cue to let you know that they're there. But otherwise, it's a little bit more low-key. You won't know if you've captured someone in your net or not, so you'll have to kind of check for yourself.
Right, and so that's kind of designed to bind a opponent in place, they're crouched on the floor, and then you're trying to incentivize the players to swing and confirm that they got that player and get the kill.
Yeah, I think that's one of the through lines for Deadlock is you're a Sentinel that has this opportunity to be a little bit more nimble and pivot on the information you have, and you have a fair bit of stall, but you also have to kind of lean into your abilities and fight for them to have their maximum efficacy, because if you just kind of throw your stuff and leave it be, it'll be pretty easy for enemies to kind of take it down and move forward.
All right, talk to me about this sonic sensor then, because I think most people are going to be aware of the Sentinels having some flank watch capabilities, but this one does work very differently. You've talked about it being more reactive, so can you break this one down for us?
Yeah, so I believe that Sonic Sensor will be a really unique trap in the game for now, because I think a lot of players are very comfortable with the idea of traps that are really good at flank watch and kind of reliably detecting if someone's in an area or approaching an area. And Sonic Sensor is a little different in that if you're sneaky, you can walk right on through. And so this kind of clear weakness shifts its kind of power profile into a different way where it's a lot better against when people are committing a lot to areas or in places where they want to make sound, like maybe when they want to tap the bomb, and a lot less strong when it comes to just kind of following on up the flank and keeping tabs on it.
Yeah.
Okay, it's interesting as well. Now, the abilities we described, that's not a signature ability yet, right? We haven't actually touched on that. So what is her signature ability that she's throwing into the mix?
Yeah, so the signature ability is Barrier Mesh, which is a tossable projectile that will explode in X and create 4 different barriers. And those barriers will block characters from moving through, but it won't actually block gunfights or projectiles. And so it's kind of a way to stop people from taking ground, but doesn't stop the fight over the area.
Yeah, that's really different compared to all of the other barriers and walls that we have in the game currently. So it's just going to stop people from walking through that spot, but you're still trying to incentivize those fights to happen. It does feel like this whole character is about still taking the jewels on the side.
Absolutely, yeah. I think other Sentinels will have better ways to disengage or to get some guaranteed value from your utility if you have a good setup, where Deadlock will have a really good ability to kind of pivot and stall areas and have an opportunity to fight with them with their team.
Okay, we haven't touched on the big one yet, though. That's the ultimate ability, and it's named Annihilation for a good reason. I mean, this seems really fun to use, and yeah, I mean, just take it away. Explain this one. The concept as well behind it is crazy.
Yeah, this one was a lot of fun and took a lot of revisions and playtests to get right, I'll say that. But yeah, the intention for this ability is that it has a little bit more mastery and interactivity to it to some other ultimates, but it still offers this opportunity to quite literally grab someone and displace them and pull them into another place, potentially netting you a kill, but offers a lot of trade-offs and kind of tactical elements of how are you going to rescue your teammate that's grabbed, and how are you going to play off deadlock, kind of continuing to pressure with their team after they ult. And so, yeah, this ultimate should offer a really appealing fantasy for players who like the idea of landing that skill shot and grabbing an enemy and playing off of the ensuing result. And it should offer still a fair bit to the enemies in terms of how they will counter-strategize.
It looks so fun. It looks incredibly fun. I cannot wait to get my hands onto it and have a look at everything that you can do with this agent. It just looks incredibly fun to play. We're going to be going to a quick break, but on the other side of this, we have our grand finals pre-show, so you don't want to be missing that either. I appreciate your time, Alexander and John, and stick around. We'll be back just after this.
Following that deadlock reveal, you probably want to try out as soon as possible. And guess what? I've got some good news for you, because Xbox Game Pass subscribers who link their accounts get day one access to play Deadlock in Episode 7, Act 1. Of course, scan the QR code on the screen to link your Xbox Game Pass account with your Riot ID for exclusive benefits today, including 20% match XP boost and, of course, member-only benefits across all of our games. And I'm just going to say this right now, it genuinely is the best deal in gaming, so you might as well just do it. That's not even a part of the read. Just wanted to keep it 150 with y'all. That being said, it is now time to talk a little bit more about today's news and, of course, the other happenings that is taking place in the world of Valorant. I'm Golden Boy. Joining me at the desk, as always, my co-pilots. I got Mimi, I got Kakuka Too Far, but you already know what they were doing. And we have a special guest today, Anna Donlan, of course, Valorant's executive producer, is here. Anna, is a pleasure.
Such a big deal.
Yeah, I think all of our heads were spinning once we saw the Japanese community really come to embrace the game. And then I think all of us collectively were like, when we were told that we were going to be potentially going to Tokyo, I was like, well, sign me up right now.
I know, right?
Put me on the plane immediately.
No one was complaining about this one, you know? It was like, let's go to Tokyo. It was pretty amazing. The games have been incredible. You know, we're getting ready to launch the game in China. It's been 3 years. China's about to launch. So seeing that EDG run was actually pretty fun.
Awesome.
You know,
Awesome.
watching them go pretty far. I think just seeing just all the matches, like paper wrecks, and they're like last minute changes and going all the way. Seeing all three of the regions represented in the top 3. Like, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I feel like you couldn't write a better script, and I've tried. I think this is a pretty great script so far.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, what was the approach and what should players be excited for with episode 7?
Yeah, so episode 7 it's a really big one for us. I think it's probably going to feel like our biggest episode release since launching the game. I think we've been releasing content and we've had all sorts of new, maps and agents and everything, but this is the first time where we're just going to see a bunch of new features start to really enter the game, and that's why we called it Evolution, because we feel like this is where you're going to see the game really starting to evolve beyond what you remember it being at launch. So you have deathmatch, show match, that's going to be huge for us. We've got progression updates coming out, we've got a new agent. Let's not forget about Premiere, which will launch during this episode. So I think you're just going to see just about everything you could possibly imagine happening in Valorant happening in this episode.
Wow.
The dev team's exhausted, I'm not gonna lie, everyone is on fire right now, but we're really proud of the work we've done. I'm watching it all kind of play out here. Has been incredible. So.
We're very thankful.
Yeah, we love it. We love it.
And I'm sure all of that will be worth it. Very excited for that new episode to drop, but also excited for the next international tournament. After this, we're going to Los Angeles for Champions, which is your home, which I'm sure you're so excited for.
It doesn't feel like an international tournament to me because I'm just gonna drive down the road and I'm gonna be at the venue. But no, bringing Champs to LA has been. Bringing any of these events to LA has been a dream of ours because we're headquartered in LA. I don't like to think about me, but I will for a second. I'm born and raised in LA, and so it is a really, really exciting moment to bring it into our backyard. We have so much planned for LA. I think we just got maybe a little overexcited. So I would say it's gonna be a pretty big deal, and I think it's gonna be something that players are gonna be super excited about. We sold out finals, I think, in 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, I saw tweets. Everyone was trying to get a ticket, and they're instantly sold out.
Which, obviously, that doesn't feel great if you tried to get a ticket and you couldn't get a ticket. But I will say the interest in the game, the interest in coming and seeing the live events was really humbling for us, super exciting for us. So we're really, really excited about it. And I'm just gonna say, by the way, we're not done with episode 7 content. I'm not gonna give y'all the the real. I'm not, because they will murder me. But I will say, we've got some pretty big content releases coming up the rest of this year. We are not done, and we'll be releasing something around Champs time. And I'll just say, I like a theme. If you know me, I like a theme. So if you want to connect all the dots and you're thinking about where Champs is, I like a theme. So
someone on Twitter is putting
someone's theory. Someone's got their board live streaming with their
in Always Sunny. He's looking around. I connected the dots. It's probably going to be me. I'm a bit of a lore fanatic, but I just want to say, obviously on behalf of the crew and everyone who's worked these events, thank you. And of course, thank you to the team who is in LA who makes this game happen. We literally would not be here without the hard work and dedication that you guys have put forward to this game.
Thank you to you all. Thank you to our players. We can't be more happier with how things are turning out. So more to come. More to come.
More to come. We're very excited, and thank you so much, Anna, for joining us. And real quick, want to get a prediction from you. Who you think? Who you like to win this final?
You always do this to me.
I always do it to you.
Kind of like I need EG to win today, y'all.
Or an EG win today. Okay, an EG. Okay, a little America's.
Look, what do you want from me?
I get it.
I sat on this desk in Brazil and said, I want Fnatic to win. It's time for me to go home.
She writes the script.
Because she writes the script.
And I've heard I write the script.
That makes sense.
We'll see what happens.
Anna, fist bumps as always. Appreciate you for having us here. Absolute pleasure. And you're welcome back to the desk anytime you want. But that is going to do it for us here. We're going to take a quick pause, and then we're going to break down today's matchup, the best of 5 grand final confrontation between Fnatic and Evil Geniuses. And as always, we'll see you on the other side.
I'm trying to find my youth, and I was falling, but you saved me. Yeah, I owe it all to you. Your heart, we're cut from the same cloth. My diamond is your diamond, and I can see the light in you.
today's final, we want to give a special shout out to all of the incredible artists that have contributed to this event soundtrack, the majority of which, by the way, are here in Japan. So a huge shout out to them. You feel free to look them up, check out their work, and of course, make sure you give them a follow on all of the socials. Amazing stuff across the board. We couldn't be more thrilled with the you know, the tonality and the way that everything has kind of been put together here. And of course, a lot of that comes from the people who make this happen, who give us the theme and the feel and invokes an emotion. So we, of course, want to thank all those artists yet again. But let's go ahead and jump into our Masters Tokyo Grand Final. Of course, joining us now, Paper Thin's here as well, buddy. This is, real quick, what'd you think of Deadlock?
I was pretty hyped. I mean, the whole stage was just incredible. The way that this was presented in the stadium, like the lights were matching the actual video. It was awesome. It was so cool.
Yeah, there's one thing that you know, our production team does incredibly well. It's managed to make that in-house experience jump, and it definitely did here. But let's go ahead and talk about what we've been building up to for these past few weeks. Two teams that are vying for the crown in this best-of-5 series. It's Fnatic facing off against Evil Geniuses. And let's go ahead and talk about our lock-in winners first and just dive right into this here, because this team is looking to do something, Kakuka, quite historic that has not been done before. Back-to-back global titles. We thought that it could have happened in the past, but now there's a very real chance that this happens.
Yeah, exactly. And for Fnatic, the year has been so special. We know that there has been a lot of changes, not only in the way the Valorant competitive is presented, but also getting that first win and lock in an event with a single elimination, then moving on to EMEA and being so successful time after time. Every single week it was the World versus Fnatic, and Fnatic was always winning, and it was always like that until playoffs. They get that loss against Team Liquid, and it isn't until they get to this event that we go back to seeing that face of Fnatic that scares the world.
Yeah, and right now, they're on a historic run. Fnatic is having the best performance we've ever seen at an international Valorant event.
Wow.
So you gotta feel like these guys are on pace to win this event, to become that dynasty in Valorant esports that, you know, kind of sets the tone for what's possible in the future, what these great teams are gonna look like.
If they could win this event, not only would it be back-to-back, it would be 2 international events without dropping a series in a row to win. And on top of that, I think it would really be the first era that Valorant has ever seen established for Fnatic.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting because we'll continue to talk a little bit more about Fnatic as well as the matchup to come. But let's go ahead and send it over to Yintu. He's actually standing by with Fnatic's Brain Trust.
All right, GB, Fnatic are here as well, and I'm going to bring you guys 2 perspectives. Minnie, go over here if you can, and Ewan, I'm going to have you over here. Of course, Minnie, the head coach, Ewan, the performance coach. I got 2 questions for you guys. You've been in the grand final before, back in Brazil, but strategically and mentally, how do you stop the boys from going as close as they did last time? You know, they don't want to do an 11-3 comeback every tournament, Minnie.
I don't think we really care about that. You know what I mean? Like, we got over the line, so that doesn't really matter. We treat every game as if it's a grand final, so we don't really like put any pressure here. Like, it's just another game.
All right, what about you, Ewan?
Yeah, I'm pretty in the same mindset than him. I think everyone is in the same situation right now, so BO5. So we just make sure everyone reset between every maps, and we get with as much energy as we can during the match.
Well, thank you very much, guys. I'm very excited for this one, and we'll see you guys in a bit.
Yeah.
Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you so much, Yinsu, for that there. Now we'll go ahead and move on to Evil Geniuses. They have had a wild ride this year, and honestly, I don't think anyone would have expected to see this team in this position. I mean, even at the start of Americas, we were like, I don't really know how this team's going to do, especially after Demon 1 came in.
I think we have to take this journey back to the beginning, where no one believed in EG. They made a few roster moves in the offseason, and people were ranking them 10th in Americas. And the first few weeks, they lived up to that. They were struggling in their first couple games, but then halfway through Americas, they bring in Demon 1, this unknown name, in a shocking roster move. They start to win a few matches. No one thinks they'll make it to playoffs. They need MIBR to beat 100 Thieves, and then a substitute knife someone just for them to make it in playoffs, and they kept that strike going. They went. They upset some of the top dogs in Americas to make it to Tokyo. They didn't even think they could play with Demon 1. Last second he comes through, and that miracle run has just continued all the way now to the grand finals.
Exactly, and this miracle run is building into this belief for this team. Like, they are working together, they are planning well, the spirits are high, everybody seems to be pretty pretty well on the same page for the most part. They're doing a great job anti-stratting other teams. Their coordination with their utility is brilliant. I mean, everything is coming together all at the right time. With a little bit of destiny, with a little bit of providence in there, they're able to start really punching like well above the weight that anybody expected.
And as we were saying, like nobody or almost no people will believe that EG will be the team to do all of this, to go against the seed one from every single region and just beating them with such ease. Now they managed to, after yesterday, come back again and play this rematch against Fnatic.
It just shatters the mind to think what could have been. Right, all that comes
Any
down
one
to
of
is
those didn't happen. Chosen doesn't get that knife kill. Demon 1 doesn't end up coming here. They don't beat every one of those first seeds. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I think it also illustrates that really in this game, anything is truly possible. Like not just in the server, but also what's happening here as well. Kakuka, it feels as if this is just, it was divine intervention for evil geniuses, but they're in that collision course with Fnatic.
Hear me out. I don't think it was a divine intervention. I think like for both of these teams, they're the proof that hard work matters and it takes you to a better place.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and check back in with Yinsu, who's actually got a word with the emotional leader of Evil Geniuses. It's Busio. What you got, Sue?
That's right, GBE, Gio in the building, and I'm grabbing Busio here. Real quick, Busio, first of all, congratulations, your first big international grand final. Tell me how you feeling and what you got in store for this rematch against Fnatic.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I think it's just sweet revenge. They beat us 1-2 last time, and I think it's just time for us to get revenge and win the grand finals for NA.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much, Busio, and good luck. Back to you guys at the desk.
All right, well, you know, here's the thing. These two teams, they faced off against each other earlier in the week, and, you know, Paper Thin, we genuinely didn't know what to expect, especially after that Lotus game. And yet, somehow, some way, EG, an incredibly competitive team with the best of the best.
Yeah, I mean, I think it came down to split almost going to OT. If it wasn't for those last 3 seconds, you know, this is a completely different scenario, potentially. Who knows? So I think EG here is, you know, got to feel confident coming into today. They got to feel like they were so close to besting Fnatic, cruising right into those grand finals. Certainly they have an opportunity here today, and I think they're going to take the most of it.
And they were the team who pushed Fnatic the most. We're talking about their dominance in this run thus far. EG's been the only team to take them to a third map. It was 13-11. It was a few seconds on that final clutch on Split from EG being the team in the grand finals like we were talking about. So this is a squad that, well, everyone has doubted them. Well, it has been a miraculous run to make it here. They can compete with Fnatic, and they're the team that's played them the closest already.
And then on, of course, the flip side to that, you have Fnatic, a team that obviously no one doubts. Everyone knows it can bring it at any point in time because they put these pieces together to really win championships, plain and simple.
Yeah, exactly. And also the stakes are so different for today. Of course, the rematch that we were talking about, it was just in that upper bracket, you know. So you always have that second chance. But now we're talking not only about winning, but also getting that second slot for the last chance qualifier for your entire region. So of course, you know that every single one in your region is backing you up.
Yeah, and that I think, you know, the big factors here, obviously, on this team, without a doubt, I think is just, you got to look at Chronicle. You got to look at Leo. Honestly, you got to look at Alfier as well.
It's a super team.
It really is. I mean, you could look at any player on this team and you wouldn't be wrong, but Kakuka, I know you have so much experience with these guys, having casted them, having you know, researched them in EMEA. What is it that makes these guys so special?
I mean, I think there's a lot of things. The fact that the protocols that Fnatic follows and makes this kind of players, the ones that are willing to put in the work and that are extremely smart, if they're willing to do all those things together, that's how they become so shiny in the server. And these 3 musketeers that Fnatic has, I think that they're going to take them to the victory.
Yeah, I mean, and behind all of this is the big brain of Boaster. He does such a good job prepping. I mean, I love watching his stream because he'll sit there and break down other teams, you know, analyze their lineups and kind of figure out what they're going to do. And that sets up these top 3 players in our event right now. Wow. Leo, Chronic, Alfier. I mean, just having outrageously good performances. And yeah, Ethan's right there, but then Boaster is the 5th best rated player here in KDA. You have 4 out of the top 5. That's crazy.
It is absurd what this Fnatic team has managed to pull off individually. You see Busio making it in there as well. He has had an insane event thus far as that leader for EG. But not only could Fnatic make history by starting an era, winning the back-to-back, Chronicle as well, the player who has been so good throughout their run, has a chance to be the first ever with 3 trophies. It's wild.
And not only that, every single time that he comes to an international event, because we know that for last year he didn't make it to any, he always gets at least to the grand final. So, you know, he has a very good high success rate.
We got 30 seconds before we start. I gotta ask, who's winning?
I think EG. I don't know why. I have no reason, but it's just been an amazing run.
EG, I don't know if Fnatic can keep this crazy pace up.
Fnatic, obviously.
I mean, look, I love my boys in EG, but I've always felt like Fnatic have that upper hand. We're a split desk.
Leave me alone.
We'll see how this works out, but our coaches are standing by for map bans, and let's get this show started. Fnatic is looking for the first ever back-to-back international win, and EG's looking to topple the crown. It's now time to start Masters Tokyo, right now.
光は儚く消える。準備の時が終わる。頂点への最後の関門。
Looking at the past, it's funny to see how everything just changed these 3 years. Starting from Gambit, no one would know what will happen, which heights I achieved.
For me, the past doesn't matter, only the present. With this talent that we have, we can make situations that are impossible possible, and just to make a legacy.
フナティック、幾多の失敗、そして勝利。栄光を形作るピースは揃った。だがその輝きを継承できるのか。真の資質が試されようとしている。
Everybody doubted us. Everyone said we wouldn't make it. But look at us now.
疑いの目は重圧となる。だが EG にとってそれは反骨の魂に火をつけるエッセンスだ。
I've been watching esports since I was like 11 or 12, watching Double F, Sneaky, all these old LCS pros. To finally make it to the grand finals at an international event, it is insane.
高みへと駆け上がる新星、その圧倒的な力を言い表すならば、まさに悪魔。
We almost had him last time. The series will be different.
外野の声に惑わされるが、過去は捨て去れ、仲間の力を信じ、そして戦え。
We've been here since the beginning, and we're not leaving empty-handed.
We don't live in the past. We're making future.
Rank up.
All right, let's get started. First of all, big congrats to both of you for making grand finals. Big deal, Masters of the Year. So let's go ahead and jump in. Gonna explain a little bit. So there is an advantage for Fnatic coming from the upper bracket. So you will have 2 bans, and then you'll choose Team A or Team B like normal. So we'll go ahead and go to, would you like Team A or Team B? Team A. So EG, you will be Team B, and we'll start, you get 2 bans, so what will be your bans? Pearl and Fracture, and then map number 1. Lotus, side on Lotus. Okay, and then map number 2. And side on Split. Defense, map number 3. Bind, and then side on Bind. Attack. Okay, and then map number 4, you have Ascent and Haven. Okay, side on Ascent. Attack. And map number 5, Decider, will be Haven, and so EG side on Haven. Defense. Okay, gonna run through this really quick. So with the bans, we have Pearl and Fracture, both coming from Fnatic. Map number 1 is Lotus with EG on defense. Map number 2 is Split with Fnatic on defense. Map number 3 is Bind with EG on attack. Map number 4 is Ascent with Fnatic on attack. And map number 5, Decider, will be Haven with EG on defense. Sounds good? Good luck to you both today.
幕張ベストの皆さん、準備はできてますか？もう一度聞きます。世界中の皆さん、Are you ready? 参りましょう。バロラントチャンピオンツアー2023マスターズ東京グランドファイナル選手入場。
Geniuses returns bloodied and bruised for another war against Fnatic, who are looking to do something no other team has ever been able to accomplish. Win back-to-back international events. Today, a legacy will forever be forged. It's time for the grand finals of Masters Tokyo.
Fnatic a chance to don Valorant's first ever era in their name, or EG an opportunity to complete the most miraculous run we've ever seen. No other team who has made one of these wild runs happen has made it all the way to the final. To test the top squad in the world right now, EG have that opportunity. We'll have to see what they make of it.
And they need to keep that dominance that they showed during the tournament, and they need to show also their resilience that they showed yesterday against PaperX to win this last battle for Fnatic. 2023 might be their year, and actually this was years in the making for them. So long, keeping that same core, trying to work towards it.
And for EG, it's the same story. These guys have been grinding it out last year, Tier 2 in North America. They never even made a grand final. No one expected them to be here this year either. But now at an international tournament, at a Masters, they have their first chance for a title.
Yeah, and I mean, you're coming off of a lot of, kind of warm-up ability here for the side of EG. They got to play a long series yesterday. They're going to be feeling confident after that big win. You can see they're fired up on that walkout. But Fnatic, they're in the zone when they're on pace. Nobody can stop them. They click so well together.
Another chance of redemption also for Fnatic. We know how the last grand final went for them. They weren't able to secure that EMEA title. They need to bring it back here at the international event where it matters the most. And we need to talk about also about the map veto, right? About the maps that we're going to be seeing today. We know that Fnatic was granted those 2 bans, and for them it was easy. It was Pearl that they never want to see definitely this year, and Fracture just to counter what EG was able to put on the table last week.
It was by far the most predictable map ban of all time, but also, we know exactly what was going to happen. Why would they want to play on Fracture? Smart calls from Fnatic.
Absolutely, but I'm sure EG expected that as well. In the upper final, they had their chance, just a few rounds away from beating Fnatic, but it's not about how close you got. It's about whether you can win it in the match that matters. And in this BO5, the deck is so stacked against them. Not the favorite in the series, but also those maps so difficult. You start on Lotus, which we've already seen how dominant Fnatic is on.
And I think for Split, that's going to be the real big kind of decider here for EG, whether they're going to be able to hang with Fnatic or not, whether they're going to be able to make those adjustments coming into that map that they were so darn close on against Fnatic in the first round. Let's see if they can get it done.
Prime Gaming Agent selects right there. This is what we're going to be playing here for Lotus. Mimi, your thoughts?
No expectations of changes. These teams have not had much time, but EG yesterday did introduce the Viper into this composition. I think it gives them a lot more options in mid-rounding on their attacking side. I'm glad to see them stick to it.
Yeah, and also another thing that we were mentioning, the preparation coming from EG. They put in the extra time, the extra hours. Surprised to see Split as a second map, maybe instead of Ascent. I think that they know this to a T. One of the reasons why Fnatic didn't choose to go for Bind as the first one is they do not want surprises.
I mean, I'm just curious to see if EG could push Fnatic a little bit more here on Lotus.
Well, folks, it's now time for the best of 5 grand final, and we're all locked in and ready to go, and we couldn't think of 2 better casters to call the action than the world-class commentary duo of Pansy and Hypoc. The floor is yours, my friends.
Thank you so much, GB. The atmosphere in here is just out of this world.
Goosebumps, man.
Yeah, literally, it is amazing to be here. And truly seeing these 2 teams walk to that stage, Mike, was something else. The fans are ready for this, hungry for this final matchup. Where do your thoughts go here?
I mean, obviously, after the series yesterday, we were talking about EG. Obviously, the big storyline is they dropped that first series, but they took Fnatic all the way. Map 1 aside, and again, with the record this year, 41-8 in maps for Fnatic, EG took a map here in Tokyo. And I think coming across into this series now, they have to be in a position to carry across that confidence. We saw it was knocked. We saw they were playing a little scared versus their idols, right, who they like to look up to in-game.
Breathe it in. We're about to be watching history in the making between these 2. The Death said it perfectly, but now it's time. Game 1 starts now, the grand final starts now. Fnatic on the attack, EG on the defense. Who gets to draw blood first?
EG, Mimi was touching on, obviously, with the addition of the Viper here. More options on the defense as well. Chronicle
It's a decent tag actually. I'm gonna have to retreat away from it. Previously, we did see Fnatic obviously hunting down Boostio, looking to mark that man, and we're seeing an adjustment here from EG. Him all the way towards C side, a 3-stack here, moving towards A.
And we know that preference from Fnatic. They love this A side. They'll explore it. Yes, they pivot, but they do often try and take this space first and foremostly. The fact they posted up the likes of Demon 1 here, you've got a lot of additional bodies, and then Boostio on the other side sitting extremely deep on C. That's the first shot. That's the first blood of the grand finals. Demon 1 going to take down Chronicle and start putting Fnatic under a little bit of pressure here. They've not had that same level of success off the starting block.
Boaster, meanwhile, has slipped through the net. The B side, Boostio is in position to catch this, but Boaster must check his corner. Just on the edge of it, Boostio wins out.
Okay, that's 2 kills on their side, and a follow-up as well. Boostio takes out Leo, leaving it down to Durka and Alpha. And look at the positioning from Alpha, though. Nasty, gonna keep both of these players busy. Ethan on the defuse already is just gonna tank the paint shot for a while, and Alpha's now got a 1v1. Already halfway, though. Demon 1 wants to get back to business. Does he just try and sit this? No, he doesn't. He knows better than that. And Demon 1 gets off the defuse, takes down Alpha, and that is a different start.
There was a moment there where Demon 1 was going to try and stick that through. Alpha, a little bit disconnected. We saw the amount of pressure he was under, actually. Goes 1 for 1. Jorgamo invests the paranoia here to try and isolate him, but initially here we've seen a big adjustment from the pistol. I said early on, it was the first 4 or 5 rounds where Fnatic were hunting Boostio down.
And let's kind of take stock here, because it is going to be a couple of Sheriffs and a Ghost, but this should be a round that EG can convert. But let's also talk about the narrative of Demon 1, right? Who has been progressively getting more and more deadly as this tournament has progressed. He has become lethal as it goes on. For now, a little adjustment here. Jorgamo knows better than to stick around, but force them to use that utility. But the one X factor, that one win condition we hadn't seen hitting as hard as online was this man. And he's already off to that hot start. Gonna clean up Durka here. Doesn't really take much damage either. Nothing at all. That's a good reply though. Boaster gonna temper some of that aggression. So they do recover the Guardian and filter it back.
So upgrade found for Fnatic. Drift back towards the orb outside B here. Find the scent out here. Will catch. So attendance noted here. Alpha actually up towards that lockdown nice and early. Just 3 away now.
And the desk kind of brought this up as well, even in the last time they met earlier in this tournament. The Fnatic are incredibly diligent at making sure every single ult is worked for, every single orb is gathered. There's no lazy rounds from them. There's always something to achieve, and they generally do it very well. There's the second example of it only in this round. Again, they're even in the rounds they probably won't convert. They will make something happen. Now down to about 27 seconds, the chance of conversion is getting lower and lower.
Especially with Ethan repositioning here. Still Killjoy set up on B side as well. Boostio. But he has drifted away from the turret here. Little catch just before disconnected. Now there's one pop. Alpha's actually found Ethan.
That's an opportunity.
It's the Guardian down.
Boostio tethered to the ground for a second. Spikes in, and they've got player advantage here. No recovered weaponry just yet. Boostio gonna spot the player. That's gonna be Chronicle down. Great trade from Alpha. Hold on, chip damage too. Boostio's in danger. That's huge. Fnatic maybe turns on its head, but a 1v2 still possible for Con, but it's got to close that gap. A tap on the spike and leans a little closer. Boaster sitting so deep though. Smart work from Boaster. Make him work for his next couple of steps. The shot doesn't come in, but time, it's ticking. The fight happens, and it wasn't clean enough for Con. Beautiful from Alpha here. Turning this round on its head. Fnatic back at 1 apiece.
And Alpha on that lockdown as well, on the back of that round conversion. A shot to the heart of EG. And these are the 2 best pistol round teams in the tournament. Fnatic actually taking the lead in that regard, but flipping round 2 here is huge. Demon 1, meanwhile, actually didn't even spot that. 1 away from the Blade Storm, so an opportunity here, throwing the light shield in. For him to maybe look for a kill, or even, off the rip, go for this orb.
It's in temptation.
EG want to stack up for it, yeah. They want to try and get this Blade Storm.
On the other side, I think you're going to have, what, Chronicle? At that side, I guess Alpha would respond to it, if anything.
Yeah, they've set up here. There's a trap play off the turret contact, potentially with the paranoia. I don't think anybody from Fnatic's going to come this way. Alpha drifts away.
Alpha sitting a little too deep to have much of an impact towards it, but the sites can be taken by Fnatic. They'll get the spike down. But the orb's been gathered, so Demon 1 does have that, and he's invested it. So this is now for the retake. How much mayhem can they even cause here, right? How much can they actually do to dissuade this post plant?
Problem being, actually, they need to go quick because this lockdown is in play. Fnatic have a late round piece here to convert and buy a little more time.
See if they can do it. Can they flood the side? Durka waiting patiently. The only one to take the battle on the side. The rest sitting super deep for that post plant. Demon 1 going to take him down, but they got to get a move on. They still have to try and get themselves in a position to hit that diffuser. Demon 1 forced away, trying to get a little bit more chaotic here. They can't close down. Demon 1 can't get to him. Dealt with. Leo denies it, and Com. Yeah. And not good.
Nightfall available as well. Already this first ult cycle looking very healthy.
That could have been insane. True. But yeah, you're starting to see three. Well, I mean, Durka's not far away, right?
Yeah, it's two off Showstopper as well.
So those three are huge. They didn't even need that lockdown in the end. And obviously EG on the other side suffering. Now we saw Com being punished with this. We actually saw the likes of Boostio punished with that singular setup. This time around, Com wins it out.
As well, or Com in this regard, not respecting that utility. Let's come out top of the kill. Lockdown invested though, so it should pave the way for an open site hit for Fnatic.
Good protocols coming in from both, so they're just making sure that no one was sat back in the corner. And obviously EG knowing better than that now. Pausing for a moment though, it's 10 years plant. Waiting for a little utility to cycle through here.
Lots of
It's massive work, leaving just 3 alive. While now we go down. 3 players from CT, front position, good. All 3 players have no idea what they're going up against. They can slip back, they have to clear Chronicle. The crossfires are going to be deadly. You can see Boaster now getting a little closer. Oh, the utility is stunning! Fnatic in this post plant have just eviscerated EG. They could not get going from CT.
And that pause for Thor baits EG into a peak to try and deny that side control from going fully in favor of Fnatic. And the follow-up utility is gorgeous. Yeah, that seize from Leo was everything in terms of securing those final kills. Absolutely zero risk. Fnatic looking very composed so far in the start of Lotus.
Yeah. Again, when we're talking best of fives, it is now marathon territory, right? It goes into a longer series, but you have to look at kind of the, I guess, the early looks coming out from these teams, how these players are performing so far. Fnatic not looking too phased. I like some of the adjustments from EG. It's whether or not they can actually keep up over distance, right, over time. Can they match them on this map? Traditionally, and if we throw our minds back just to that last time they met, this was one with the biggest disparity on it. Now, EG, at least putting up the first, will close out a little bit of that worry that they weren't prepared, but on the other side of things, Fnatic, it takes a lot to fluster them. It's a very rare occasion you're going to put them in such a bad scenario that they can't recover. So I like that Fnatic are just kind of pausing in this one, taking their time, making sure they're doing their due diligence, just clearing through, because EG currently do have a little bit of a stack towards A.
Sheriffs across the board as well. How deadly they can be in the thrifting. Pop out the back of the Viper here. Boostio will find one. Actually, tag comes through with a shorty, but Durka does just one. Boostio, he gets a second though.
Needs to do a little bit more here. Jorgamo, the last one alive. Is there anything he can achieve out of this? I mean, then, yeah, the last 3 sitting pretty comfortably. HP in a good place. Like, nothing looking super easy for him. Like the danger they try to create there, though. Quite simple so far for Fnatic in this round now. After all that chaos settles. Part's going to go in. He's going to need some belters to do something with this.
Even trying to drop out of the smoke there with the TP to maybe get a bit of information, but Leo will seal the deal on Fnatic's 4th. Need a response here from EG early on in this half. Options to play with now. Operator actually online. Also have the lockdown, have the Viper's pit. They just want away from the Seekers as well, so.
I'm in their head, boys. I'm in their head.
Okay, he's got Yeah, I was just wondering what he was going to go for by that. I feel like I can hear Potter talking, which is a great bit of information. But, and look, a TriCast, I'm always down, but for now, let's focus as Demon 1. Postured up on this for a fight. And they were punishing them on any aggression before. Pain Shell could be the first thing invested. Jorgamo really shouldering most of this contact, but they are just kind of waiting for Demon 1 to get that chance.
Nade placement was actually really perfect here. Showstopper popped it. Actually, Demon 1 able to slip away, but caught on the retreat.
Dirk is so good at this, clearing very efficiently. And Fnatic getting such a great read into all of the intent, all of that want from EG.
And that's one of those big tools I was just talking about for EG to make a stand here in round 6. Removed, no chance of the trade. Com anchoring A site right now. Bustio tucked into a setup on B. Actually, decent read on the timing as well to pop the pit here, but it's a lot to handle.
Yeah. Even outside of that, they can still crunch towards that B site. Yeah, counterpick comes in, so that's going to nullify that. Bustio looking like he wants to invest the lockdown here. 27 seconds, maybe not a bad idea. Going to really rip away some of their options, force them back into the pit potentially. But you can see Chronicle clearing around those edges, trying to spot out Com. So the rest of Fnatic's coming this way, so Com once again will have his hands full. Divide goes up as well to ensure a little more safety. Com's closing in. He's seen everything! Huge impact from Com. Finds 2 and now time. They're running so low, 4 seconds. Chronicle gun out. Goes for the fight. They do not have time. If they can live, they've done enough. EG deny Fnatic.
Beautiful stuff from Com after being at a disadvantage so early on. Has a perfect read on the timing. Unfortunately, yeah, Chronicle, I'm not sure if it's just an unfortunate spread here, but he has such a small slice to play outside that pit. He can't really counter it. Can't really create any pressure towards Com. Unfortunately, late round, it's played to perfection. The lockdown to force them back towards A, it's a scramble decision, and they have to plant in such a risky spot.
They invested so many ults on that round too. I mean, we had the divide coming up as well, Dirk with the showstopper, Chronicle with the pit, but a fast piece towards B. Simplistic and approach, but this works very well. Dirk's going to take all that space, but a challenger awaits, and it's going to be Ethan. Got a bit of a hot hand already this round. Following up from the last, Zeke is going to go through. They should be working off the back of this. Yeah, time to close in. Bustio going to be the one really committed, and he gets away with murder. Finding 2 looking the wrong way. Ethan make himself the sacrifice, and it works. And Bustio's been dealt with. Big boy Bustio. He's playing out of his mind right now. 4 big kills for him. And let's, again, I have to remind you, roll your mind back. He was bullied on this map. Highlighted, you said it, marking your man. Durka had his number for like 6 rounds in a row. That's much different this time.
Absolutely, and yesterday we were talking about the number of rounds that he's just dropping multi-kills. As the first point of contact for EG. Standing tall here. So we've seen him completely avoid that, the broken door position in towards Link. It's a massive adjustment in the defenses of EG. We haven't really seen Fnatic, I guess, fall foul to it just yet, but here, that adjustment of position does pay off for EG.
Did the homework, but it's still Fnatic. That will always be the end of every sentence. It doesn't really matter.
Big info.
Demon 1 will be noted in the additional presence towards that C site, so let's switch up a little bit. Away from this, though, we are seeing that exploration on the other side of the map. Once again, Com. A whole lot of stress on this one man, because EG have responded, right? They've drawn 3 players now over towards C, pulling that rotation. So Com's going to have to anchor this like a superstar.
We'll spot the poison off throwing across, I think. Actually drops it here. A lot of space between him and the next EG player, Ethan. Looks like he's making that rotation all the way back through spawn. Com actually able to slip through.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Thought they might have been caught him on the way there, but no. Fnatic being meticulous.
Crosshair looked bang on there.
Yeah, that looked on the money. No, meticulous in approach from Fnatic. So plants in. And a 5v5 retake. This could get incredibly messy unless Bustio's going to keep keeping it clean. Chronicle's gone down. The other player's playing off-site, sitting super deep by tree over towards the back of the wall. They now don't have a presence this close by. They could start pressuring here, and Boostio wants a bit of that. Gets a little closer to the wall. Now she swings it! The flash is divine! Sent from the gods! Ethan gonna be grinning with that one, and he wants a bit more. Boostio is just unreal right now!
He must have heard me. Back-to-back multi-kills here for Boostio. And he's the tip of the spear, the flash from Ethan, and Boostio digs so deep behind this wall. I mean, timed to perfection.
One enemy remaining.
We actually might have a grand finals on our hands, like an actual
What a
matchup.
stark contrast. I believe it was 4 first deaths out the first 6 rounds last time for Boostio.
Yep.
And now look at him, 13 and 6. Leading the charge, another lockdown available for him, and a massive financial cushion here for EG.
What does Fnatic do now? Do they lean to other options? Do they look elsewhere? Had some success over towards C early on. This time around, EG noting that. Already, I don't think that's going to catch anyone, but it does give them the green light towards the site.
An alarm bot here and there. Now they swarm down on default here, so a chance to maybe stall out this plant coming through, or force Fnatic to plant a little deeper here. So last time, Fnatic baited out a couple of peaks, but lockdown invested here. Durka's pushing forwards. EG are going to struggle to defend this.
Okay, unless you have Ethan, apparently. Going to find Durka in all of that chaos. Supposed to try and take the brunt of this. And our Chronicle, a little bit of freedom comes out of the paranoia, but gets outdone. EG are sweeping the site. Alpha and Booster are about to get annihilated. Alpha, hold on, that's huge. Oh, that got a little close. But EG have just taken the lead.
Fnatic, I think in a position now where they're probably feeling like they need to call a timeout.
This should be a timeout.
Feels as if they're struggling for an answer. EG are digging their heels in.
Yeah, this absolutely should be a timeout for Fnatic. Pump the brakes, as we've actually just seen it come in here. They are indeed doing that. So, a couple of different looks there. They tried to explore A again. They went back for that B lean. They've explored C, but none of them really found much footing in that. So, options, that's the question. What do they run with here? But also for EG, the mentality of knowing they've forced Fnatic into that timeout.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, the emotional win on that, huge.
I mean, we talked about last time, I mean, Pods even hinted towards this, obviously coming into this initial first matchup. EG were a little scared to play against the people, again, the people they look up to, the people that they tried to imitate and kind of adopt their own play style from. And that was very evident first. Even the first map of that series. Map 2 and 3, different story.
Nonton di mana? Kita nonton di Twitch, Mas, biar sama. Biar detiknya sama, Mas, gak ada spoiler. Kalau di YouTube lama biasanya. Telat seronde anjing di YouTube anjing.
Facing down an opponent who you never feel you have that 70-30, 80-20 against you.
Belum, bentar. Time out.
But they drew blood last time, right? They were one round away from OT, and then it could have been them sat in the finals. Who knows how?
Ya, sekarang baru muncul.
For Fnatic though, they are the favorites for a reason. They have capability to hit these timeouts, come back in strong. We rarely see them tested though. The Death
Discordku ganti tuh, nggak kantor lagi.
This whole tournament, I say EG has really pushed Fnatic at all. No one else has come close.
Detik 7, 6, 5.
I mean, this Fnatic super team roster is 6-0 against America's team, so.
Dung.
Any stat you
Buang
look
2
at.
secel ke situ, Cok. Kenapa ya? Sayang gitu anjing. Bukan 1 doang cukup itu ya? Gak cukup, satu doang di tengah-tengah jalan.
Looking a whole lot different. Now, does that change the outcome? Let's find out on this map. This marathon in front of us of a best of 5. Pressure towards A, but a quick pivot towards B. And the damage!
Spamnya, Cok. Spamnya sakit. Boostio. Triple kill lagi kah?
Maybe anticipating a little bit of aggression here. Pulls the shorty out on the back of the gravity well. No damage done just yet. 4-5.
Gimana, Cok? Oh, di belakang.
Looking at Jorgamo potentially trying to cause a little bit of
Yes,
an issue, but the lockdown coming in, that's secured them so much.
Alpha, yeah,
He's
go.
going to get a move on. Clear through connector very quickly.
Aggressive,
It's
man.
very clear where the postman is. Now Jorgo needs impact, and he finds it. Takes out Chronicle, and the late positioning from Boaster.
Oh, nggak ketahuan, botak nggak ketahuan, Dok.
Botak.
Still on Fnatic side.
Dapat
That's
satu.
lovely work
Oh,
from
botak
Boaster and
dapat.
Durka.
Dapat dua.
Comes back in, but can't get past. Durka
Bom
waits
lagi gak sih? Bom
patiently.
lagi gak sih? Anjing nge-save
I think
anjing.
their options have
Nah,
dwindled here.
kayak
Nggak ada waktu, Lek.
Hold on to the Odin at least. Some further damage because
Nah, aku mau bunuh Om Botak nggak bisa.
insane for Demon One there. I was going to say if we could remove another rifle or two,
Ada penjaganya.
the best situation of a round loss that EG were looking for. I think maybe on the back of that timeout, the awareness is there for Mini. Relaying that
Booster
information
versus
that there's minimal
Bustio.
resistance towards that link
Sama-sama
area where
tukang
time
boost.
and time again they were finding value. I think Fnatic on the back of the lockdown capitalized massively.
Yeah, you see Chronicle starting to get a little heated up. That's good to see. But
Chronicle,
yeah, the
hidungnya
lockdown was
panjang
perfect
banget,
to
anjing.
supplement to complement that round, right? It almost kind of put that bow on it. Timeout right back in though. EG don't want to let this one slip. Holler instantly going to get a grip on it. And if you look at the regular season from North America, EG, after those timeouts, their conversions of round wins was exceedingly high. Almost out of the ordinarily high conversion off the back of a timeout. And they still have a great purchase here. Ult-wise, I mean, TP for Jorgamo, Demon 1 off, but he's got an operator coming to this round if he wants it. On the other side, very close to that showstopper again for Durka, Chronicle not far off, Nightbot, Boaster. So plenty of options could be played with here, 'cause you know these teams will absolutely play around those ults as soon as they're available.
I feel like EG are in control though. 5-5 scoreline, but it feels as if that string of rounds, EG have the
Gimana,
awareness
Lek?
of
Fanatik
where
banget
they
ini,
want
Lek,
to
dan
adjust
Lek.
and to appreciate having the game he is so far.
Prospek tuh
They're able
fanatik.
to ride that wave. Demon 1 can have a couple of rounds now with the operator. Shut down previously, isolated with brilliant awareness from Fnatic.
But for me, I still look at Durka as one of those who've tamed the best, right? Everyone always this player's the king of Icebox. No, that's Durka now. Like, anytime he's facing your Tens, your Yays, your any Aspas, he has won those battles. Like, Durka deserves all the credit in the world, but can Demon 1
Waduh,
find a chance?
panik.
It was for a split second. That's all you get, an opportunity, and it's gone.
So, a massive deterrent, but that's hanging around.
Serem
That
banget.
looks so close.
That looked terrifyingly close.
I think, yeah, initial deterrent now. It's definitely a red flag. Fnatic initially showing a little bit of respect towards the operator. Jorgamo posted up pretty deep here.
Does Boostio draw enough attention? Does. Does he commit to this? A little bit of a spam.
Oh.
Okay. So heads up from Leo though.
Boostio still got one though.
At least get Alpha here. Jorgamo gets away.
Hmm.
Boostio doesn't though. So Fnatic still
Botak,
on
yuk.
for a little bit of a run here, but they're just
Dapat
going to
Om
be
Botak.
pausing. They've decided they'd rather face down the operator. 45 seconds.
Nickel kok mati banget
Switch up
ini
as well. They're
bisa
going to leave
38.
Demon 1 now with the operator posted at A site anchor. Com in a position to support potentially.
Has he get more than... Oh my god, the pressure. This is ridiculous.
Gimana ini loh sensinya kok kawalan dia.
Support system. It's all down to him. Oh, I thought he might have had a second. Knives out. He's going to do some serious damage.
Aduh,
He's
sakit banget.
Leo, quick to respond, and now looking for that plot.
Aduh, Jogimo.
He's behind him, and Ethan's from Chronicle. It's all on Leo, the man who denied the OT, denied them the
Aduh.
shot. This time he
Tipis,
falls. Ethan puts him to his grave, and EG pick up where they left
Aku gak paham deh, Jogimo, kok Jogimo sama? Gimana iku geser mouse-nya apa? Sensinya 1600 tapi 0,1. Berarti kalau di DPI-in 800 itu 0,2 ya.
If he's expecting somebody from Tree,
Iya juga.
obviously the TP from Jorgamo
DPI 400 berarti cuma 0,4 ya.
They found Com earlier,
It's
right?
a disaster, yeah. Demon 1 actually dashes right
Itu
onto the
geser
crosshair.
mouse-nya gimana ya? Aku kemarin nyoba kan, rapol.
We see him pick this up on Fracture as well, just as a curveball. He has been landing shots with it.
Okay, Fnatic once again showing their presence. It's just going to be that protocol list. Difference
Bang,
being, I
bang,
guess,
bang.
Dover does have that showstopper Boaster. You can see the money really on the cusp of crumbling towards the end. Still able to fashion a buy here, which is fortunate for them. It's going to be Chronicle postured up at this point, and the other four leaning back towards C. This puts again Jorgamo under a lot of scrutiny, but here, playing safe on the other side of the door. No one currently on that C side. This is now where it gets a little scary. Durka, the paranoid did land. One with the TP, trying to keep himself safe. Doors shut, and no one there to receive it.
Yeah, what a big trade though. The paranoia for the showstopper, whether or not he's Ethan nearly cresting that corner. But Fnatic just posturing up a little bit. They have two players making progress towards A. Bustio will find the spike on Boaster though.
And the Seekers as well, because Fnatic are everywhere. They've infiltrated the entire map. Demon 1 waiting, spots them. Now he's in danger. Jogamo's got his back. Takes down Alpha, we're down to Chronicle, Durka and Leo. Leo is looking monstrous today though. Some impact kills for sure. Spike back in hand in 19 seconds. That B side looking vulnerable, but they could also look towards C.
Trouble is it didn't catch Durka here, but I think the flash did.
Flash should have caught him. Oh my word. There's the Viper's pit. They've decided they've committed for that B plant.
Kenapa pro player suka nge-plan di sana ya?
Durka's pretty far off, but the two players on the side, Leo and Chronicle, the ultimate duo.
Bisa dua arah dari link sama main. Dari B.
Ada dalam masuk belum kelihatan.
Flash goes into the pit, Team 1 goes on top, Leo looks for it, finds it, no more! It's down to a 1v2, Ethan down to 76, but Durka and Chronicle sitting pretty, he's been found, put to the knees, tied up all even, 6 apiece.
But a stark contrast from last time, 10-2 was the score on the half. On Fnatic's attack. EG with some great little adjustments here to bring out a level pegging at the half. Leo's having a game already though.
And it's impact kills, right?
Yeah.
He's 11-8, which doesn't seem hyper impressive, but then you look at the value he's getting out of this world. And again, that's when we talk about super teams, we talk about them in those specific roles, and we haven't even seen them at their best yet, right? Like technically, you haven't seen Durka on Jet, you haven't seen half of these players yet. But let's jump back in just a moment's time.
Yang sama Fnatic 2-0.
Pansy and Hypo, what a pleasure it is to be on this desk for the grand finals. We've got Mini, Kukuka, and Achilles for joining us. Hi.
Hello. It's been absolutely crazy so far. 6 and 6.5, perfect parity between these two teams, and a major step up for EG compared to what we saw the last time they played against Fnatic.
Yeah, exactly. We're very surprised at what we're seeing on the server, but we're talking about the level of preparation that was coming from EG, how reactive we were, how important it is to understand the timing in which Fnatic wanted to do things, so you can, first of all, make them very nervous in the decisions that they're making, and also surprise them at the mid-round.
And I was really impressed with, in particular, these late rounds from EG. So many of these replays were what made this even half happen, and in particular, your back-to-back 4Ks to get them to this point. Nigel is stepping up, and as you guys are talking about, they are even. But the thing is, I almost favor EG going into this half. Lotus with these comps can be fairly attacking sided at times, and if EG can get that ball rolling, I think they are on good course for the match. The thing is though, if they are really good at controlling this defensive side, 60% win rate, you give them 4 rifles, you give them
lawan Perex 2 kali.
Great job of holding down those extremities and stopping them.
Yeah, for EG, I'm looking for them to come out here, out the gate, get that pistol round win yet again, but this time not drop the anti-eco like we saw Fnatic be able to still away. Got them that massive streak to really run this one back where it was in EG's hands to start.
I think for some reason I'm starting to cheer for EG because I see the preparation, I see the work that is after that, and also not only on this map but for the rest of it.
Well, 6 on the defense is huge. Pansy and Hypo. Let's see if EG can keep this up.
You're right, this is a totally different matchup now. This completely shatters all our expectations from before. We're looking at a new environment, right? Something else to look at here, because EG have come out and they put up a much better performance, night and day, from that first time they met. And Fnatic now have a true challenger on their hands.
Gak bisa kalah.
Ini roster yang menang Master kemarin kan roster ini juga.
Sama. Nggak ada Leo nggak sih kemarin?
Tapi tadi ada akad piala kok ada Leo. Bukan Leo atau siapa?
It's quite simplistic for now, but you still have the players split towards the extremities. Bustio and Comp taking control of that. You do see though that Fnatic are playing towards connectors, so Demon 1's gonna have his hands full. Boaster, Leo, Durka, all there. Paranoia could be huge. He's diving in. A 1-for-1 trade out. Leo sends it back. Alpha doubles down, and they're clearing us through. Fnatic looking so deadly. Timing not there at all. Leo coming alive here.
What a beautiful pistol round though from EG. The plan here, slightly off with the execution. I mean, the paranoia is huge. It catches all three players. Only amounts to 1 kill with a shorty. Maybe Demon 1's blocked on the way in here, but it's the paint shell behind. Then the smoke drops. Demon 1.
One enemy remaining.
Just caught on the retreat. But the 3K from Leo.
Picking up where he left off.
Yeah, flips things on its head.
And we're starting to see the true power of Fnatic, right? This team was made for finals. They're made to challenge anyone in the world. Forged from the best potential players. That even if one has a bad day, if maybe, you know, let's say Dirk is having an off game, maybe Alpha's having an off game, it doesn't matter. Someone else can fill any void that's left there. For EG though, certainly not done yet. Certainly not out of this one by any means. Even one trying to maybe give that similar look here, but EG starting to walk through the rest of the map, pick up the orbs, close in towards C.
I'll prioritize some progress towards the lockdown.
Ya saya nonton cuma 60.000 sampai 120.
Probe sent out here by Ethan. It's just Chronicle initially, but Alpha drifting across to provide a little bit of support if necessary. The timing was immaculate.
Yeah, that was great. Thanks for that introduction. And also cameraman, who's been looking around at all the signs and gone,
This is the one. I want to show that one.
Yeah. It looks like a double pump back towards C. And that assistance from out here could be very, very valuable now.
So yeah, he's actually drifted towards a committed position with Chronicle.
Tahu juga tuh PP.
Does catch the TP finally, yeah, but Com good for the trade. And the rifle retrieve for
Oh iya, TP-nya dari
15 seconds left to play with though.
Iya, bertahu
Down
betul.
a little bit of a dangerous spot. It is picked up 10 seconds now.
Momen
More
TikTok.
damage would be good, but I don't think they're going to get much here. D1's gone down,
Mati.
and there it is.
Nice.
Fnatic, keep composed, keep their cool here. It's going to be their 8th.
Flawless.
See, a little more invested as well in that round 2 than usually you see Fnatic playing with a Marshall potentially a pistol to round things out. But Alpha to get able to get back on handle here. Sure ready Leo in this half. Round 3, 1 off the ultimate. Nothing really within reach for EG either. Looking to probe towards C once again, and a switch up, a total switch up here.
Hello.
The defense for Fnatic. A little bit of fake utility, actually, almost implying a heavily orchestrated set piece. But look at this wall.
That's so nice. They get to push up. It's a little bit deeper as Chronicle to deal with the turrets. They don't particularly know about most. So there's obviously that consideration to an extent. But how much do they clear on this? That's quite nice actually from Fnatic. Sitting deep though. They are going to respect that EG can now take through towards C. But the retake's going to be deadly. So it's down to the likes of Com and Boaster. Who wins that fight? It's going to be Boaster. That's a free upgrade as well. Plant's going to come down. And I just love the way that they teed that up.
Yeah, it was faking heavy presence outside Mound. I mean, he luckily drifting behind it, but lack of awareness towards the back line here. Now 5v4 on this retake.
Big paranoia. That's been 3 denied, slows the roll, and Demon 1 wants it, gets it, takes down Boaster. Follow-up score, just can't get the third though. Jorgabo, a little out of sync on that, allows Leo and Chronicle to answer back, but buys a little bit of time and keeps them into this kind of 2v3. Boostio and Ethan though, can they keep control of this? More time being purchased here. A little bit of chip damage, yes, but now Ethan's got to be ready for this one. 3 players, he can't do enough. Fnatic clearing on through now. Close ain't enough. As Fnatic make it to 9.
Beautifully constructed as well. We said the early round perfect. EG unfortunately do lose Com ahead of this side hit coming through. Again, Fnatic just dissecting their way through. It's not often you see him laughing and joking about things either, but obviously looking very comfortable in the circle right now. And now top of the board for Fnatic.
He's one of the coldest players, even on the walkout. He's just like
zero emotion.
None. He's something to watch. Again, still not seeing him on the Sova, which is ridiculous, right? Like the guy's good on pretty much anything, but now almost touching double digits here. Shot from Durka wants a little bit of limelight for himself as Demon 1 removed early on here, above 120.
Bisa beli di mana loh?
Bisa lihat ya,
There was some
orangnya
utility
bagus
to
banget.
control the rotation, but damage to really follow up on here. If anything, it's their detriment. Pulls Boaster and Leo a little closer.
Kalipo
The
dulu
other
kah?
side of B. He's still in play now.
Berapa? Ya, enggak lah. Dapat kan.
I guess a window of opportunity here, but it requires Jorgamo and Busio to dig really deep outside rubble. Leo playing on the backside of the
Sama aja ya.
cause problems for them.
Lipo 24 jam rame.
Malah di studionya mantul itu.
Sekarang kan ada klubnya ya.
Pressure coming his way now.
Ada barnya. Nek malam.
Shallow paint shots, trying to deal with it finishing up.
Beautiful pinch from
Big shot, hold on. Durka though, look how quick he responds to this. Alpha's there.
Pembodotan Alfire, ship man.
Stunning from Alpha. Fnatic firmly in control, double digits made.
Botak sama bocil Turki kok.
And they close
Bocil.
cleanly. Another buy and a big round coming up for EG.
Botak sama bocil Turki.
This one has a big impact on the rest of this half to go.
Ini bedanya nih baru nembak saja.
Much like the first, we're asking for
Kita nonton ya,
EG
Fer.
now.
Kita
There with their first ult cycle of this side. Lockdown available. TP for Jorgamo.
Oke, Naya lagi nonton.
Missing one more.
YouTube
Orb towards it.
69.
Pace change here at
Yo
least.
salah deh, Twitch CS 610 ini.
Kemarin dicampur-campur bagus.
Created any pressure towards Chronicle just yet, but it has does still have the open.
Iya, gak apa-apa toh.
Ditembusin balikin, tembusin balik.
You definitely don't want to be tapping that one right now.
Kasih pialanya coy, ke Fnatic coy, sekarang coy.
Opens up the door and Chronicle even gets a farm. D1's gone down. They haven't even had a chance to really start that roll in towards the site. They're left trying to pick up the pieces somewhere else. EG maybe running a little low on steam here. Bustio again, it felt like he ended the half on 14, barely on 16 now.
Lu.
Yeah.
Make something out of this round though. Can't be ideal obviously. Alpha waiting in the wings. Leo's
Loh.
Boaster
Mati sih,
Chronicle
gimana
nearby. Lockdown's gonna go through too. This now gets deadly. It's gonna ask a lot of these players. Is Bustio gonna at least get Chronicle down? But look at it. How do you get past Alpha and Leo? Jorgamo is not gonna do it. Fnatic are in full form
Menang
now.
game 1, nggak usah nonton lagi.
100% lah, Quintet ya.
Iya.
Even further.
Pick Fnatic nih ya.
EG walking the
Iya lah.
tightrope in terms of the finances here.
Fanatik kan dari upper, dia nge-pick 2 match, terus nge-pick duluan.
Again, it's the timing of this kill. EG are looking to get set up to maybe plant the seed of doubt, deal with this killjoy utility on B once again, try and pull a rotation, but
Menang banyak.
Dia yang nge-ban map itu dia semua yang nge-ban. Udah gitu dia nge-pick duluan.
Gila.
Jadi EG itu kan dari
I mean, the saving grace being that
Terima doang
doesn't even
ini.
get to the point where they can invest some ultimates,
Terima
they'll be able to purchase
sama
back into the next regardless, or at least
dia milih
force
kedua
back up
sama
with the Blaze-Storm there as well.
Sisa
Because they just
game-nya
want
dia
the
yang milih
Seekers to be a full house for
Di
EG.
Sider sisa berapa?
sisa kelima.
Again, it's so easy to look at the underdog
Di Sider,
story here, but again,
iya sih.
Fnatic just played EG not long ago. EG clearly coming out showing this progression, this capability to grow and change. And it's still in the second half. Like Fnatic is such a formidable team. On all accounts, prepped perfectly. No one else came close. EG the only ones who've come knocking on that door.
Lari ada Om Botak.
Kasih pialanya coy,
Players to play with all those points almost ready to go. Apart from the Seekers that have already come through this round if they want it. They should go to get the buyback.
Udah dapat 2 kali.
Loh, ya, Fnatic ini emang ono Leo dah.
Baru masuk kayaknya.
Leo kan dicoba Pak.
Dari Master berhasil terus.
Praise them for doing so on other maps.
Kemarin ibu ono Leo dah.
Menurutku Sao Paulo itu
5 rounds trailing to Fnatic.
Lo gak match kemarin dari kemarin nih gitu.
Oh ya kemarin ya iyalah. Yang ini ya.
CT Sao Paulo. Winner, Fnatic, MVP, Leo. Leo udah ada juga.
Leo baru join 2022 bulan 10.
Tapi Sao Paulo yang mereka menang
Udah ya.
Sao Paulo
Udah ada.
Dia MVP-nya malah.
Kevin kapan? Join Fnatic. Kevin.
Loh.
Here comes that setups effectively. It's going to be tested once that second layer of players come in. Demon can get past pretty comfortably.
Demon,
The rest not so much. Alpha and Chronicle, as said, the door swings and say goodbye to 3. EG left in tatters. Demon 1 Ethan, the only on.
Yang defending yang main Viper sama KJ-nya doang.
Durka down.
Sisanya pengisi doang.
This, I mean, maybe Alpha's position is not comfortable. They've got to win.
Keren ke apa ya?
Even trying to find that safe plot for the CT side. Now what can these two do? A 2v4, also 2v5. Seekers is going for
out.
Trying to give them everything they can, every tool that they have invested here. Ethan down low though, 21 HP, and Demon wants it in pretty. Finds the first, Ethan trades it, and now down to a 1v2. But it's the big boys, it's Alpha and Leo, the ones who've really come alive here in these finals. Flashes one, expects to swing. Oh, a great read from Ethan, but not enough to take out either Leo or Alpha, who has said, Mike, they're in finals form.
They just make it so difficult for him.
Tapi tak Leo mati sih iso menang lho. EG soalnya jauh tapi.
Even here, down to 21 HP. Demon 1 tries to go aggressive, dig out Boaster, but like I said, the read here from Fnatic is set up with this pinch on the back of the utility to counter
Ada
a
tulisan
lockdown.
boost, Tio apa booster ya?
Booster
In the choke point.
Kok namanya bisa sama ya?
Rounds now for Fnatic.
Iya.
ST, BO ST-nya sama.
Cherry on top of the cake. Get a challenge.
Tio atau booster?
To take that fight. I wouldn't go near the side of that map if I were you, but it looks
Kok akun utama aku tak ganti yang nama itu lari ada kotak.
mountain control. They're gonna
Lari
hear all
ada
this utility.
kotak.
And that door's gonna open. There is someone waiting. It's Durka. Delivers to us. Chocobo in a
Tadi ada
second.
kotak.
Divine work from Durka. He wants more. Get the door open again. Swing it through. Give me another target. Does Demon 1 want to go for it? The flash is there. Oh, he's
Oh,
Durka
masih
just
ditolong
took down Lucio as well.
loh, dapat tuh.
Hold on. Down to 3v2, yeah. The deadly duo. Do they get closer this time?
How deep Leo's playing on this. Demon's desperate for somebody to swing onto him here. A little bit of a misread here from Boaster. He's coming back through to stack up with Chronicle. Will give Ethan a plant. Seekers once again.
Bloody hell. Right, they're going to take a journey. Demon 1's position could be everything. He should have the drop on Leo. He does. Now 2v2. Coming back around. It's all over towards Mound. This time, Ethan's team got a flash. Yeah, this could be a massive thing. Chronicle going to try and take a couple of steps forward. Spotted on the cross. Now the flash doesn't need it. Ethan's there. Saves it for last. And Boaster going to catch one. The spray.
Oh,
Wild.
nice.
This time around, Demon 1 and Ethan. That's the unison that's scary, but again, they walk out barely alive.
Will attempt to scrape together another purchase, but now Fnatic, 4 ultimates available for them. Even again, saving grace being Leo's caught before his ultimate actually casts. Big 4K from Ethan. But the first one this half for EG. They have to follow through with this. Busio back on the operator. We'll try and look for a pick here. And he will.
Oh.
Durka will fall.
Pit is just controlling so much of this space, right? You can't disrespect that. So they have to look elsewhere. It's B, it's A. 2 players close to
Yang tak heran tuh ya selama ini Max itu kok nggak ada yang nge-ban Lotusnya Fnatic ya.
Miraculous, yeah. A1
Masuk akal.
this kid. There's something
Sampai dia
about him that you just don't want to mess with at times.
Yo mungkin
Flips into a little bit of a
musuhnya ya
different gear.
pede, maksudnya pede mbek Lotus sih mereka.
Still have a lot of
Iya
carry to do.
kan,
Fnatic actually
ya
still
tetap
have a
kalah sih.
challenge on this.
Lotus 100% loh.
It's not going to
Tapi lek sing grand final iki gak iso ngomong deh kamu. Terus bakal nge-ban lho, nge-ban-e fanatik kabeh.
Follow up here, but the wall will slow things down. Leo respecting this for the time being, backing away. Chronicle still over towards C. Fnatic concede a lot of space.
Ingat like kalau di Lotus berarti kita pakai ini like
Interested in doing any chip damage.
Trace sama Trace sama Fate.
Sama apa? Fate.
Iya.
That's what we're seeing. Yeah, look at the minimap.
Kayak fanatik.
Kemarin Gecko cok.
Iya nggak ada yang ikat kemarin.
First play TGRS.
Flawless round as well, so a big boon to the economy.
Dulu lo namanya Cigarettes kan mau jadi CGS udah ke nggak boleh
It's how quickly the Fnatic think on their feet. That little new piece of the puzzle.
nggak boleh rokok
That operator doing really nicely, finding them some early work, some early opportunities. Does Fnatic think they don't have to adjust yet? Maybe they don't. Maybe just a couple of nice shots that he was hitting. I mean, both got caught out a little bit, kind of, you know.
FNS jadi finish tuh.
Yeah, I think as well, and it's you look for the indicator of where the operator potentially is on an attacking side.
Mau udah bagus FNS
Is he setting up for a lurk? Is he looking
Iya
to just
cok, keren
secure
FNS
this
ini.
extremity? So you can understand why Boaster's this committed, but
Booster gila tuh
clearing that space, what, 30-35 seconds after that initial pick anyway. Fnatic's still comfortable, obviously that string of rounds still have a buy or two in hand here. See with the light shields.
Chronicle nggak nyala. Chronicle nyala di map kedua.
Chronicle defense mulai nahan.
Lotus split bind semua race duel race semua.
Race hyper lagi.
Pasti semua race ini tuh nanti.
Catch a vulnerable for
Motak.
Boaster to spam through on the Odin.
Nggak ada mainan loh.
Just play anti-plant on
Apa tadi map 2-nya? Bind.
Split itu di atas
Split bind, iya juga. Split bind.
Split bind habis itu
Reja.
Ascent. Habis itu Ascent baru Heaven.
Sama nih komnya cok. Astra Viper lagi tuh. Tapi yang bindnya bawa Brim. Satunya tetap Viper ini. Split juga mereka bawa Viper. Buat midnya.
Biasa nggak ada Sentinel kalau split. Gila ya. Nggak,
di rank bawah gitu nggak berani aja nggak bawa Sage. Midnya hancur pasti tadi kayak kemarin di dia.
Tapi kemarin kita tuh apa? Nggak ada yang jaga cok.
Iya di midnya dibantai terus cok. Nggak ada Sage soalnya.
Gak ada yang delay mid juga soalnya kemarin. Viper itu ya
Doga couldn't divide and conquer for once in his life.
Jaga Heaven aja wis. Gak jaga mid mana? Mid masuk ya jaga Heaven aja bener.
Itu fan-nya ditembusin cok. Mati cok.
Iya.
Aduh kejauhan cok.
Iya shortnya nggak kena. Bisa di atas itu nih dia mau.
Pakai OP ayo nggak bisa.
Susah ayo retake. Aduh, Chronicle-nya mati.
Iya, keke.
Game 1 GG.
Final round was ridiculous. EG have so many tools at their
3-0 sih.
almost a stranglehold set up in this post plant. And Fnatic just rip it away.
3-0 DE ingat duluan Sentinelan di bandai 3-0.
In this matchup alone we saw
EG.
Fnatic kan dulu awal Asper kan di bandai 3-0 Sentinel.
Definitely have a competitive series in front of us if EG can keep up to this level. But again, if you think Fnatic can't answer, they can't match any level that you go to, you have to
strong.
They are the team to beat for a reason. They come out here and they've done very well. And now we're starting Alpha and Leo.
Booster and his friends, anjay.
Just to know, bro, EG actually win out in the opening engagements here.
Kayak pemain bola anjing. Gila, vibes anjing.
Fnatic recovering so many rounds here.
Yeah, best of 5. Longer series now. Taking a look back at this. Start and a half from EG. First half, very solid. Took a little time to get going in the second.
Like I was saying, there were a couple of really nice adjustments from EG to fix some of the, I don't want to say glaring issues, but things that Fnatic